Hello, I'm Jenny, and today it's a beautiful fall day. It's actually more like Indian summer. So we're going to work on a quick and easy fall floral. I'm going to be using my number 12 filbert brush. I'm going to use these are all Princeton, by the way. I'm going to use my 1/2 inch wash brush, it's square, at number 12 round, and I might use my number 8 Princeton Aqua Elite, not sure, probably on the leaves, and then a number 2 round for detail. And I'm going for these kind of delicious rich fall colors. A note, a note to self. It's not a good idea to mix your palette around the paper you plan on painting on, but no worries, I can camouflage that, no problem. So I'm going to start out with just a blank canvas, and I'm going to make some simple flower shapes. I'm going to start over here because I'm a southpaw. I'm just doing this swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. I kind of like that little bit of dry brush. Remember, all petals come back and connect in the center. Grab a little bit more water. I like a little bit of white showing. Then I'm going to use the side of the brush and then a real small petal right here. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to grab a little bit more of an orange. And I'm kind of like a 3/4 angle, I guess you could say. And I'm doing little C curves. It's amazing how rounded you can get with this brush, and a little foreshortened shapes. I'm glad you can't see my face and my body because I'm doing all kinds of contortions. Usually I flip my paper around quite a bit, but I'm not going to do that today because I'll make you dizzy. And let's see. I'm going to go back. I'm going to grab a little bit more of a purpley fall color. I'm going to make a larger, well, I have to make it over here now because I've gotten dirty. So come on, Jenny, you said you were going to make it bigger. It's pretty. Kind of starting to read like a poppy. Then I've made sort of a Payne's gray with a little bit of brown, really light. I want to have some varies in tones and values. And you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to pick up my filbert brush. It's my very favorite because I want them all to be slightly different. I can make a big juicy flower with this one. Doing a little bit of wet on wet action. And I don't like even numbers, so let's put another one right in here. And I'm thinking, I think I'm going to do a little bit of a pinkier version of that. So I'm adding some rose, but I need to knock it back a little bit. I'll knock it back with some orange. Ooh, that's going to be pretty. Okay. This could be, it could be a chrysanthemum, it could be a crazy made-up flower, whatever you want it to be. think I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. I'm gonna lighten my color a little and add a few petals kind of falling underneath or in the background, so to speak. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my number 8 and I'm gonna tap in some slightly darker colors. Now this is probably, oh good, it's still wet. It's kind of humid today. So we'll see what happens with that. I could have sworn it was completely dry. That's pretty dry. So I'm just going to help it along a little bit. And then the center got a little weird, so let me clean that up. So I need to leave those alone and let them dry. So in the meantime, I'm going to think about where I want the stems to go. So let's make a really dark, I'm going to use indigo and a little bit of sap. And just draw down stems. And if you get a little bleed, it's a happy accident. I think I had too much caffeine. Look at my handshake. He's coming down here, coming through here. Little dry brush action. I think I want this one to curve slightly. And later we'll go back over these with a little bit of dark to add some shadow. Just on one side. And then I'm just going to make some lines. Just going to just some marks. Like maybe they connect back here, maybe they don't. Wow, really dry. I guess I've got a lot more dry brushing going on than I intended, but that's okay. I'm going to grab some brown. You'll see what we're going to do with these things later. Grab some brown. If it's not dark enough. Oh, what is she doing? What the heck is she doing? Just you wait. Not much going on over here, but we can fix that later. I think what I want to do right now is start playing around with some leaves. And you see where I've got some cauliflowering going on right there? Don't worry about it. We can fix it later. I really like how this is bled and that's bled. We'll go back and add some polish later on. So right now, I'm going to move on to do some leaf shapes. And I think I'll start with some nice dark greens. And basically, they're gonna come up like that and then come down. Come up and come down. You want to go pretty dark if you want to cover over the stems, but that's no problem. And I think I want to add a little bit more sappy green so I get a warmer green. Tapping in some orange. We have a leaf coming off of here. And just wiggle that brush. Maybe it's got another one up here. Let's see. Oh, that one actually has the darker. We'll pretend like this is coming off of this guy. And grab some of my dark. It's really just like tap down, push, and lift. I'm gonna have to start turning my paper pretty soon, I think. All right, I'm gonna finish the leaves. I'll come right back. Okay, you can see I added a lot of leaves. I tried to balance sort of the olivey green with the darker green. Feeling like the whole thing's getting super dark. So I'm gonna come back with some pretty kind of gold. Let's see if I like this color. Always have a scratch piece of paper next to you that you can use. I think I'm gonna make some pretty little C-curve leaves coming off of this. It helps a lot. It looks kind of hot, so I'm gonna dab in, how do I calm that down? Maybe just a little orange. A little darker orange. At the base and tips. I don't want them to be mustardy. I want them to be nice fall leaves. Let's kind of put one. I'm not exactly sure where this one's going to be coming from. Let's see if we can squeeze one. Not really. Let's squeeze one coming off of here. Now that's a pretty color. I had to turn my paper quite a bit when I was doing the leaves just so I wouldn't run my hand through the paint. And I think I'm going to take some of this gold. You can tell I like odd numbers, which is pretty much the best way to do compositions anyway. And you want to balance your warms and cools, your colors around your painting. I can add some stems for those later. Then let's see, maybe some little simple flowers, like little daisy-ish flowers. You can always tie them back together with the stem later. Okay. Maybe just a couple small. Don't force it. I think I'm going to make some darker yellow-orange berries just coming in here. I can add the stem to them later. You can see it's also really nice to mix large and small. Oh, look how I smudged the hell out of that. That's okay, we'll just cover it up. I can try, this isn't a real easy color to lift. I can try. You can also use a magic eraser. But I may just get my spray bottle out and spritz a little at the bottom to soften it. So that'll be a quick fix. All right, orange. I think I'm going to do some little berries here. I want them to be redder. There we go. All right. Let's see. It's starting to look kind of cool. What do we need here? I think we need some berries, but I think I want to bring some of this color in. So maybe we'll just do something that looks like, just use my brush as a stamp. Pussy willows? I don't know. We can connect everything later. So, let's bring some orange up here. So you can see how all of your random linear marks are starting to look like something. There's something going on down here. It's looking pretty cool. Let's see. I think what I want to do is I want to let everybody dry. I think I want to bring another leaf out here first. Then I'm going to let everything dry. Okay, I'm turning my paper, sorry. So you can see how I really do this. And the next thing I'm going to do, I just can't stop, see? When that dries, I'll turn that into some little tiny flowers too. All right, so I'm going to let everything dry, and then we're going to come back and add what I like to call the jewelry. We're going to add some glazing in mediums and darks, and that would probably be milk, cream, butter, some veining to the leaves, and some centers. So hang on. So you can see I started putting in some veining and some shadowing on the flowers. I wanted to get a little bit of a head start because I don't want this video to be hours and hours long. I got off to a weird start, and then I remembered what was wrong. I didn't have my glasses on. So I did go back and put some dark, almost indigo accents on these stems to give them a little bit of shadow and shape. So I am just going to continue what I've been doing. I've mixed up a slightly deeper shade of this. I had to use Rose and Scarlet Lake. Let's see if I got it. Oh, I could make it even a little darker. Okay. And I'm just going to hide a multitude of sins. You can see I went back with a kind of a tea on top of this one because it dried so very light. I wanted this to be the lightest of the flowers. So, and this is very just intuitive, where you think a shadow should be. You don't even need to really look at a reference. And then later you can go back with a darker shade. I think I'm ready to go in here with just a couple of darker shades. I've really darkened this color with some indigo, and I'm just gonna do a couple of shoop, 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 shoop. Gotta make that sound effect. Just flick little flicks. And then maybe hit a couple of spots. Just for depth. Nice. All right, while I've got this color on my brush, do I want to add some, I could add some veining. Actually, that's more of a green brown over here. I'm going to switch to my number 2 brush so I don't go heavy-handed. Can you see? Okay, you can see. What's going on here anymore? Just quick little C curves. Adds a little detail. You can see I dragged veining that way on that one. Mix it up a little bit. Or you can just go back in and add a little shading if you want in some places. It's all intuitive. It's all up to you. This poor guy. Let's see. He's in the background. I'm going to darken him a little bit. A lot of times I have to put a paper towel or something down to rest my hand so I don't make a big mess. That's advisable, especially if you're a southpaw like me. All right, I'm just going to go back in. I'm going to grab my number 8 again. This has such, it's the Aqua Elite. It has such a nice little tiny tip. So I believe I've got the shade I want here to darken. Oh yeah. You don't have to go crazy. In fact, I think that's enough. Now, that's still a little bit wet. I'm going to wait on that one, but I'm going to add some slightly deeper grays to this. Kind of gray brown. I need a lot of water. Test sheets, test paper is invaluable. All right, enough for now. While we're at it, let's add some dark to the base of these, whatever the hell they are. I'm just dancing around the page. Dancing around the page, adding some shadow, some darks, rounding out some of the shapes. Let's see, I'm going to grab some orange. I'm going to go back to my number 2. Let's make a nice dark orange for some veining over here. And here. And add some sort of centers to these little pretend flowers. surprise in there. Now I'm going to grab some dark green and do a little connecting. Don't need much. Sorry. Oh gosh, I just hit the lamp. Sorry. I'm gonna go do some centers before I do more shading because I want to make sure things are dry. I like to do wet on dry for the jewelry bit. So I'm gonna add some nice yellow. And just sort of dab it around. Tap, 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 tap. Let that dry. I'm gonna grab a little bit of a darker orange. Clean up some of those shapes. All right, I'm gonna go away for a couple minutes. Oh wait, I forgot this one. And that particular yellow, the cadmium yellow plus some orange, it's almost opaque. So that's a good thing. So it can sit on top of that. So I need to let everything dry before I go on to the next step. Okay, I'll be back. I hate to wait. I hate waiting for things to dry. That's gotten me in trouble so many times. So I think things are dry. I can go in and decorate with some jewelry. I can work on this one. I need a brownish red. So I'm going to grab some burnt umber. Oh, it needs to be a little darker. Maybe some Van Dyke. It needs to be a little redder. Some alizarin crimson. Oh. I keep going one extreme or the other. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah. Flip, flip, flip. Oh, I forgot to put my glasses back on. That's what it was. Of course, it's the day after Election Day. It's no wonder my brain's not quite on straight. Nothing better for stress than meditative wildflower paintings. No need to overdo it, Jenny. Then let's look at the browns. Let's look at this guy. The yellow's not totally dry. I need to lighten that. Where's my scratch paper? There it is. Ooh. Somehow some pink got in there. How'd that happen? going to go with it. Leave that one for now. Don't overdo it. You can see it bugged me that there wasn't a yellow leaf over here. It doesn't make any sense. It's coming off a green stem, but hey, artistic license. And then I felt I needed a little more yellow over here, so I added a few more of these little doodad flowers. So now what I want to do, I'm going to add a little bit of some more berries over here. We're berry heavy on this one. Maybe there'll be little flowers. So I'm going to grab some, I can't add white in yet. I want to add some white to the centers, but it's not dry yet. Not dry yet. Am I going to have to stop again and wait? I think I am. Well, we can do some stuff over here. I'm going to grab a really, really dark, like brown, almost black, and just sort of tap around it. Careful, Jenny. No, you didn't wait for it to dry. Okay, I'm going to stop. Meanwhile, let's see. We can add back to the number 2. Add some veining. Wait for that. Maybe we'll have a little bleed. That's pretty. Looks like I stopped veining this guy before I was done. What else do I need to do? I guess what I need to do is wait a minute. I know what I can do. I can add a little bit more shadowing here. That's kind of nice. All right. See? It wasn't dry. Lift it. All right, I'll be back. I'm back. I had to step away from the painting. So, one wonderful little secret to add highlights to your watercolor painting is either white gouache or bleed proof white by Doc Martens. I prefer bleed proof white because it's bleed proof. Enough said. So I'm going to get my little tiny brush. Well, it's not tiny, it's a number 2. And I'm gonna, light's coming this way. So I'm gonna tap, 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 tap. And I'm also gonna mix a little of my bleed proof white with yellow to give it like a nice creamy touch. Since it's more opaque, it'll show up better in the center of these flowers. Especially where I kind of ran over the petals. All right, now back to just pure white. Nice highlight. Let's see, maybe just every once in a while, add a little highlight here and there. Break up a stem. I've only just recently needed glasses. It's so frustrating. Here we go. That's why I always forget to put them on. All right. And the very, very last thing I want to do, grabbing my Payne's Gray, which is pretty much almost black, and I'm going to finish up this little project, just adding depth. Just little lines, little marks. Oops, I just about dipped in my white. Maybe some fatter marks. Again, we're just dancing around. How do you know when you're done? I think we're done. I think we're done. Maybe just a dark accent every once in a while. Since I've got it on my brush, might as well use it. My puppy's playing with something on the floor. You can probably hear her. Oh, what are you doing? That's paint. Drop it. Sorry. That would not be pretty. All right, where was I? So I think I could always mat it right here. Get rid of the problems at the bottom. A lot of movement in this piece. I like that. It's like the breeze is hitting it. All right, the puppy's misbehaving. Mommy's been too long painting. I hope you like it. I hope you have fun.